Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new series or a brand new episode. Sorry, I've got something in my throat. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm just going to have a deep voice today. Anyway, today we are going to be dealing with setting up your system basically on your iPad. And that's kind of a big deal because we want it to look good. We want it to be there. So what I did do, FYI, is I did make some minor changes to the system, and we will go through those really fast just to kind of show you guys what the heck is going on. So what I did do was I set up my iPad. That's where we're kind of getting started now. Press home button. Completely forgot. Finish setting up iPad. Not now. Okay. Now, I've gotten my solution, and I'm going to type guest to get into it. Go. And we are going to see the page. Now you guys can see my green screen if I do that, huh? That's kind of cool. I was actually going to set up my other camera, but I didn't get the chance to do it. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make it look good on your system. Now, the weird thing is that, as you can tell, I'll hold it up here. So that's what it looks like. But if we were to log in and go into our register, this is what happens. So we get the keypad on it, but if we were to start, and I'm going to do this while you guys see it. So I'm going to start this, and you'll hear it go off, and then we'll see what happens. So now what it does is it removes the keyboard. Now, the issue that you may have, or you may find that you have, is that when you start your little scanner thing, that it will remove the keyboard, so that you, when you're actually, hi Craft Killer, it's good to see you. So it'll actually, Craft Killer, by the way, I'm going to play PvZ Garden Warfare 2 today, so hopefully you're on and we can play a little bit later on. So that would be great. So what we found out is that if you get into this, this is exactly as if you had plugged in a keyboard. So putting in data can be difficult. And you can see at the bottom here, we kind of have this little thing where it says, you know, do you want to add new records? What do you want to do? Blah, 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 all this other stuff. And it can be quite complicated because you can actually put data into. Which time do you do? I will be doing the 1:52, 2 o'clock today. Right now it is, hold on, let me see what time it is. It is now 9:53. So at 2 o'clock today. So that's 9, so 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So it's like 4 hours. 4 hours. Anyway, so what happens is you're going to get this little screen, and you can add, it has like a plus minus, which allows you to add new records. As you can see it in the bottom. Add records, delete records, duplicate records, stuff like that. So much of the security that we designed into the system is relatively ineffective if you can get people, if it allows people to actually delete records, because that's kind of not what we want. We don't want to be able to just delete an entire record. But unfortunately, that's a issue that even if you go into your security solutions, you go into my manage, and then you go into the security. And we'll just type in our password, which you guys already know what it is, so we'll just do that. And we go into our guest account. So our guest account, and what we can do is we can set the data privileges, and it's full access data entry only or read access, and then a new privilege set. If you did like a new privilege set or you edited the data, you can allow printing, allow recording, allow create, edit, and delete in all tables. So what you can do is you literally have to just kind of go through and set a new privilege, like records. And the bad thing is it doesn't, you can create and edit in all tables. USA, how are you? It's so good to see you. You can create and edit in all tables and not delete the records. That's a big deal. And then layouts, all custom privileges, so all no access, all modifiable, all view only, all no access, customized privileges. So you should be able to say on this particular one what you want this particular person to do. So they can go to the entry page, allow creation of new layouts. No, we don't want to do that. So we want to be able to go to the where in the heck is it? Looking for entry page. Going through all of this stuff. Time cards, my solution, security breach, user database, menu, register, back office. So you can actually go in and very specifically set up exactly what the person can and can't do. So you can set, I don't see the entry page for some weird reason because it's just like not on here. I'm not sure what the deal is with it. Back office admin, invoice, inventory, records change, register to, invoice to. So it's actually setting them up as tables, which is kind of weird because register to and invoice to are tables. They're not layouts actually. I mean, they are layouts in a sense, but oh, there is entry page. So entry page, you can give them modifiable on the layout, but view only probably, and then records via this layout, view only. I haven't really messed much with these, so just so you know. So we'll say okay. Let's go look for the other one too. So I do have some base inventory things, and then we have register 1, and that would be modifiable, but you shouldn't be able to modify the layout. And then register 2, we want to view only, view only. Let's see what happens if we just do view only, view only. And then none of the rest of them should we actually need access to. So we'll say okay. And we'll say disconnect user from server when idle. Allow exporting, allow manage extended privilege, allow users to override data violation warning, allow users to modify their own password. We don't need to do any of that. Value lists, they don't need any access to value list, and they need no access to scripts. So we can actually just change that just like that. Available menu commands. Minimum. Okay. We'll select okay. Okay. And now if we go in, and as you notice, as I've been sitting here, it gave me the thing back. So we'll turn on our thing and get rid of that. And let me find my game. See if it will actually, let's see if it actually works. So it did work. And if we go into here, it says add record, delete record. Let's see if what happens. Permanently delete this entire record. No. Well, we'll have to figure out how that works. But because we're using this, this keyboard on the system, it's kind of giving us some weird accesses. But no big deal. And I did add something really interesting to this. So if you touch the cache button, you'll see it pops up a window, and then we'll just say cache, and then it'll close it and start a new one. So let's go from where we are right now. Let's go ahead and we're going to exit this. And we'll exit the app. And so I'm going to move that out of the way. So it's way the heck over there. We'll move this as out of the way as well, just so you guys can see it. So what I did was I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I added this exit app thing right here. So what this exit app does is it allows me to just exit the app, just close it completely down. And then as you see, I've got invoice, invoice lock 2, invoice lock 3. And I did get register 2 up and running. So now there's 2 of them. I don't have register 3 up and running yet. That's just a hoaxy thing. But I'm going to go ahead and add a number in here, which happens to be Josh's. And we'll go to register 1. So what you see here is I made some major changes to the system. One of the big things that I did was I moved it around. Like in this box, what I did was if you go to this box and you go to portal setup, you can actually change the number of rows. So that's what you should do. You should go in and change it to 10 instead of 20, 10. And these, I have them enlarged because what happened was when I was, if you change it to 10, it'll get really super small, and then you just make it bigger so that it fits. So if you click on the page, you'll see this thing right here. And if you just move it a little bit, see how it just gets bigger, the whole thing, or it gets smaller, the whole thing. We're going to Control Z that so we don't have to worry about it. But so if you add 10 records, and then I added these to all 18 point, so I could see them, because on that iPad, they were so tiny, the print was so small, I could not see it. Could not see it. So I also added the subtotal, the state tax. I filled this up, this lower bottom case, with a bunch of boxes as well. So now if you go and look at what boxes I actually have, let's go to the data. I have the invoice lock down here. I have the state rate, tax rate down here, and this is all hidden. The username is down here. The user passcode is down here. And I even put the invoice number down here. But I highlighted it in yellow so that you guys could see what was going on. My quantity and my scanner data I also put at the bottom and as far away from the buttons as possible so that I could actually be able to click on this and not have to worry about it. I also minimized the price total down here at the bottom to 12 points. So it's smaller. So try to make yours look very much like this. My boxes, the position and the size are 153 by 93. So my boxes I made quite large so they're easy to press, because if you guys noticed while we were in the last register, the buttons were pretty big. They're pretty good size so you can actually push them. Now I also did something that if you press one of these buttons, I built a popover, and for cancel and then cache, cancel and cache. And the reason why I did that was because when you push the cache button, you don't have even a breath. It goes right into, it just creates a new record and goes into cache, and that's it, and you're done, and you're done. You're just done, right? So I thought, well, if I add this popover to it, this popover thing, then what I can do is I can say, wait, yeah, okay, oh no, it's not a credit sale, it was a cash sale. I can cancel that and come back over here and then do the cash sale. So it kind of gives me that moment of breath. And you want to make these different from each other. I can notice the cache is a blue button on this one, and I have a green outer line. And this one, it's kind of the same except for the line is a different color on the outside. I should have probably changed this credit button to a different color. And then I did obviously the split pay. So hopefully you guys are caught up with me. Hopefully you guys have done the exact same thing. I still have done nothing with the administrator and nothing with the execute button. Currently, that's not like my big priority. It's pretty simple. If you wanted to, you could just basically, you could create the long script and say, go to user data, find the person. If the person has access, then allow them to go to, you know, wherever, blah, 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 blah. And that's just fine. You can do that. Or you can just script something really super easy and say, you know, da, 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 da. If this passcode box is equal to 1912, then you can go. Then it'll allow it to actually do something. But I decided instead, just not even mess with it at current. But I personally will write the script where it will check your ID number, your passcode number. It'll check, make sure that you have access, and then it will allow you to go somewhere else directly so that you can escape this should you decide you want to. Now the dismiss button, what I did with that was it's just a simple dismiss button. There is no approve or deny or any of that stuff. It's just a very simple dismiss button. But I want to show you guys how to do this dismiss button. First and foremost, how to do the dismiss button with a popover, because I think that the popover kind of gives you an ability to kind of second guess it and say, wait just a minute, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to dismiss. Or, you know, like in the hold button, if you go to hold, you get a couple of options here. You get to see these. And by the way, I did increase those so that this is 24 and this is 24 as well. So they're big. And as you see, I put a big green button on there for the hold so that if we do make a product or we do have a product, we can actually hold it. And as a matter of fact, let me do something here real quick. So if I'm gonna turn this one on because they're separate, so they're different places. So this one, if you were to scan in your data, and it'll automatically put it up there, as you guys saw. It's pretty quick. It's not too fast. But if I wanted to, I could hold this button. So I could say, okay, I want to hold it. It'll automatically give me another record. And then, so on my new record, and see how it went to scanner data already? I can push this, and I can sell 2 of them. Or I can sell 10 of them. Or I can sell how many ever I want to. Let's say 5. We'll click off. Now, what I did there, if you guys notice, I just clicked off. I didn't click on this scanner data thing. But if I do 5, it'll sell 5 of them. Titanfall. And I've changed it to where all we have on here is quantity, product name, price, and extension price. But you guys this is really weird. So what we're going to do is I've got this thing going, and I'm not going to hold this one, but I'm going to go resolve this one because the last guy, he came back and he's like, hey, I want to resolve this issue. So I'm going to go there really fast. And if you notice, it automatically takes me there, but it doesn't give me any information. If I click off, if I click anywhere on the page, it will fill that information in for me. And then I can actually cash him out. Cash him out. And it will take me to the last record I was on. How cool is that? How cool is that? But I do want to show you guys something really super simple. And that is, I'm going to go ahead and credit this one out. In this quantity button, what I did was, if you edit the layout, you can see that I actually added a script trigger to that. And the script trigger is on object, and we're going to select it, and it's quantity exit. So if you go into this little tool thing and you edit the script itself, it's super simple. It just says go to field, register scanner data, and then halt script. I mean, super easy to do. Super easy to do. And we'll just OK that and OK that. So I just set up a script trigger real super simple so that no matter what, it was always going to end up on this box, because that to me was a really big thing. So let's exit the layout, and we're going to go. Now you guys have seen this and you guys know what it looks like. These buttons, as I say, you can change the color. I'm going to show you how to do the dismiss button really super fast so that we can do that. And you can do it one of two ways. The very first way to do it is actually you can just grab this button. So if we edit the layout, excuse me, and we grab this button, I can hold the control button and move it. And then I can grab this, not hold the control button, and just move it out of the way. Now you can notice this one actually has a background to it. So if I click on it, not what I meant to do, if I click on it and I go to my inspector, and I go into the appearance, you can see it has an outer shadow. Well, I can get rid of that outer shadow just simply by clicking outer shadow, and it's gone. So now if I take my cache button and I move it over here where this one was, and I get it just right. There we go, just right. And if I double click on it, it will open this thing. It'll open it up for me. Cache sale. So then it's just a matter of basically changing what this says. If I click on it, I can say dismiss or whatever I want to in a vocal sense or a literal sense. I can just write it out. So I can say void this sale. Void sale. And we obviously want to make sure that we extend this a little bit, and then it has to be dead in the center. We want to make sure that we are on center and that we make sure that it is in the center. Now this cache button, if you look at the cache button, let's look at the position and size of it. That's an order, Josh. So if we look at the position, it says 153 by 68. So all we have to do is come over here. Come over here. 153 by 93. So if we just type in 68, it will make it smaller. Same size. So we can take the cache button and delete it. Bring our dismiss button down in its place. And this button, we can change what it says simply by double clicking on it, changing it to dismiss. And we want to obviously change the color of the tile. So we're going to go into the appearance, select a new color, that same orange color, because we like that same orange color for that. And we're good to go. Now, if we wanted to, we could change the outline color, because the outline color is a bit weird on this one. So I don't like the green outline color. We're going to go with kind of a pinkish red color. So it just pops. It just stands right out, and we'll close it. And now what it will do is when you come into here, I'm just going to get rid of this because I don't like what it says at all. So I'm just going to get rid of it, because it was up there. And also this line is kind of weird. If you click on this box, right, you can tell what line it is. We can actually make it a deep dark red color if you want. So it's red. And we can also make it thicker. So now it's a much thicker color, much thicker. So we know now, it's like when you see that, it's red. So it's like very, very red. You cannot change the color of the palette behind you, but you can, like if I wanted to, I could fill this in with a red color. Right now it has none, because I'm a big fan of the none thing. So we'll go ahead and close that out. And now we've literally created a brand new way of doing this. So if we go dismiss, it now says void sale, cancel, or dismiss. If you press cancel, it'll just close the popover. That's what it does. It just says close popover. If you do the dismiss, we've already programmed the dismiss button. I hope you guys were here when I did program the dismiss button, but if you didn't, just let me know and we'll take a quick look at that. As a matter of fact, let's just take a quick look at it anyway. And the register 1 dismiss. It just basically says that if the grand total is empty, if the grand total box is empty, we're going to show a custom dialog, and the dialog is going to say, hey, you can't void a record that doesn't exist, right? And then we're going to go to, if the invoice, register invoice lock is empty, then it's going to set a variable as to 0. Now, we have to set a variable in this particular case. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the variable to 0. And then if it's not empty, we'll set that invoice lock number to our register. We'll set the variable to the invoice lock number. So we're just carrying it with us, and we're going to set the field to blank. And then we're going to go through, we're going to set variables, do all these variables that we would normally do on a cash sale. And we're going to go to our register monitor, which is something I'm going to show you guys here in just a minute. And then we're going to go and set all of those fields. So we're going to say, this was the invoice number, so that we have a record of it. That's what we're looking for. We're trying to create a record of someone pushing the dismiss button. So what it's going to do is it's going to say, hey, this record was dismissed on this day, and this is what was on that record. This is what was on the invoice, right? We'll commit the records, go back to our regular layout. Now, if the lock button is equal to or less than 0. Now remember, we had to put in 0 because that was kind of, we had to have that identifier. We had to have some sort of a weight or a numerical value to our variable, right? So it says if the thing is 0, or if our number lock is 0, then it will create a new record. It'll create a new record. It'll set the field, the username, and the scanner data. You'll go to the scanner data field. But if you're trying to dismiss an old record, what this is doing, what this whole thing is doing, and I apologize that I'm in the way, and I just now noticed that, but what this is doing in a nutshell is it's saying, if you're dismissing like a held record, or you're dismissing an old record, one that you went back to, or that you found, or that was just out there, or whatever the case might be, if this is so, if you're on an old record, that we're going to go ahead and do that, but we want to go back to the last record, which is right here. So enter find mode, look for that invoice number, the last given invoice number, perform the find, and then go to the field register scanner data. So what this is basically doing is if I went to that held record and dismissed it, it would have just dismissed just the held record, and it would have taken me back to, because think about it. Remember what I just did a few minutes ago. If I would have dismissed that record that I was on, the one that was held, it would have just came back, created a new record, and the record that I was working on would have just disappeared. It would have dismissed that one as well. Well, that's not any good. We need to make sure that when we dismiss a record, that it takes us to the record that we were last on. So I hope that makes sense. If it does, wonderful. If it doesn't, just let me know, and I'll hopefully be able to explain it a little bit better. It's kind of hard to explain how that works anyway. So we went ahead and we said, okay, let's get rid of all of that. Now, the execute button we have not done. Another thing that I did do was this button. So if you double click on it, you'll see that I made these larger, and I called it X. And let's go into our button here, and if we go into the position, you can see that these particular records are 161 by 64. 161 by 64. Now we can change them by making them a little bit, adding some space between them or whatever it is. But what happens is the return button, and the other one I just called free. I called it free. The return button, what it does is it does this script. And what it basically says is, look, if the quantity of this line says empty, then it's going to just close the popover and it's going to say this item has already been removed. Then the very next thing it will do is after the end if, it will close the popover. It'll just close the popover. It'll set the variable ID, blah, 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 set the quantity to 0. It'll set the invoice price to 0. And therefore, it just kind of, it leaves the name there and the product ID there so that you can see what was on the invoice, which is kind of good because we need to be able to see what was on the invoice. We don't want to just delete the entire portal row. We want to be able to see what was on there. And then freeze the window, go to layout, put it back in the inventory, you know, enter find mode, put it back in the inventory. But as you see, one of the variables that you need to set right here is product ID. Wait just a minute, Tim. Wait just a minute, Tim. Wait just a minute, Tim. What? I am so sorry, Tim, but hello. There is no product ID. Do you see a product ID anywhere on this? No, you don't. Tim has lost his mind. That's what you guys are saying. Well, actually, no, I haven't. What I did is, I'm going to show you guys this really fast. Now, pay attention. Is I extended my box. Do you see what I see? It says product right there. Product. See it? Product. I hid it. I hid it inside. That is such a cool thing. What you can do is you can make this box as long as you want, as far out here as you want, put all that data inside of there that you want, and then you can just come back. I'm going to Control Z that so it's exactly right where it was before. But what I was doing was I needed to have that on the line, but I didn't have the space for it. So I just extended my box out, put that product ID number in there, because remember, that's what we use. That's what the computer uses. That's what our solution is going to use to put data back into the system or to even extract it. So that product ID is valuable information that we need to have. So I did that, and now we know where it is. So let's go ahead and we will exit the layout. We're going to exit this, and it says please make sure to log out. But notice, because I exited it, it's changed this number, and now we're on number 21. And you can see how it's a 1 and then 7 digits after that, and this is a 2 and then 7 digits after that. So register 1, register 2, and then we'll do register 3 the next time you guys come on. I will show you how to do register 3. Big deal. Big, big, big deal. Let's go into our admin. So remember, we're not going to go into inventory modifier, clock in, clock out, or any of that other stuff. We're just going to go straight into our admin, and it's going to take us to the admin. Now, I did introduce the list inventory here so that I can go to the list inventory, because I realized, guess what? I don't have access to the list view. I have access to all different ones, but not the list view, right? So if we go into this inventory was it was this one. It was this one. So if I exit, it did bring my name here, but it didn't bring my where I came from. So basically, if I exit, it's going to exit me out of the system, but that's okay. We'll be okay. I am going to add a button on there. Of all of those buttons, I'm going to change one of them so that it will take you back to management, or it'll take you back to admin, so that you don't have to do this every time. I did do that on the passcodes, I believe, and I did do that on the list inventory. So if you go to list inventory, it says exit here. This exit should take you back to where you were. And I did not put a sort button in there currently, but I'm going to. And the sort button, basically all it does is it it says we've sorted by category, and then we'll tell it sort. Ta-da! So I do want to add the sort button to there. I just need to do it, which is, as you guys saw, it's no big deal. It's just basically grab a button, call it sort, and tell it to do a single thing: sort records by category. Pretty simple to do. You guys don't need any help doing that. As a matter of fact, let's just exit the layout. Let's just do it right now so that we know. So we do have our code bot up here. Shh, don't tell anybody. We do have the code bot up here. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to grab both of these buttons and we're going to move them over here. And then I'm going to take the exit button and move it back where it was. Hold Control, move it over. And then I will double click on it. I will call it sort. And you can change the color of it if you want to. You can change the color of it if you want to. But I'm just going to tell it to do a single step. And cancel. Let's just tell it to do nothing. Click off. Click back on. And then tell it to perform a single step. There we go. We didn't, because it was, if you remember, it had that single step. There was something there. So we're just going to tell it perform. Yep. No. It's not perform. It's sort. I don't know why I told it to do that. So sort records. And you can actually tell it to perform it without dialogue, which is what we want. We do want it to tell it to perform it without dialogue. And our category is already there, ascending order, blah, blah, blah. Just press OK, OK. So see how simple that was? It's so simple. And then you can go to change cursor over hand, which is kind of a big deal. I like to do that anyway. Change cursor to hand. So now when we look at it and we go here, this button will just sort the records and this button will take us to exit. But the exit will actually take us back to where we came from. So watch. Oh, critical error. Dang it. Entry window. Because, let's see, 1911. Go back to our admin. Go back to our list inventory. Now it should actually press. There should be exit. Unless it is doing what I hope it's not doing. What I'm looking for is my name. See, my name just popped up right here. So it went to this record. So we have to, the reason why I left this record open, this record 1000 open, was for that purpose, was so that we didn't mess up this name thing. Because to me, that was kind of a big deal. Because what it'll do is if you set the name, if you set your passcode, you just tell it to go there and then set a passcode. What'll happen is if you're on a different record, like as you can see, you can barely see my name up there in the far corner. But if you change it to a different record, it disappears. Change it to a different record, it disappears. So it's only on this record. So if I'm on this record that I'm on right this very second, it will actually exit me. It'll take me to the exit. No, actually it won't, because it's going to go to that first record. Let's find out what's going on. I can't mess with that. So CodeBot, I want it to be available in browse mode just for me for right now. And this exit button, we're gonna what it does is it says go to record first. So it goes to the very first record. And then blah 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 blah. Okay, so we say okay. So it's not in there. It's not in that one. And we'll exit. And let's go to our because we still have the ability to do that, let's go to our admin window. And then in this list inventory, let's see what it says for that. Perform script, admin list inventory. Okay, set variable, if it's empty, admin security box, go to layout, entry page. Okay, well, it wasn't. Okay, so it says here, set field, admin security link to 0. Why is it doing that? Something got messed up. So this, once we set the variable, we can set the field instantaneously to 0, and that's how it needs to be. So once you set the variable, you have to set the field to blank it out so that there's nothing there. And this says if is empty, security link. Ah, no wonder why. Go to layout entry page. So realistically, what this needed to do is this needed to go on the bottom side of this if. If. There we go. So now it says if the link is empty, just send them straight to the security breach or the entry page, and it should be the security breach page, but that's fine. We'll deal with that. The entry page. So we're going to set the variable admin security link. We're going to set, and then we're going to clear it. And then we're going to go to field based inventory. We're going to set the field. What? Did you guys notice that? Go to layout, and then we're going to set the field. So we're just going to set a field, a blank field anywhere. So what we need to do is we need to go to, let's see, type in go to record request page. Go to layout, then go to record first, then set the field and halt the script. And we'll call that good. And we'll call that good. So now if we exit the layout, of course we can't exit the layout. We have to go into our BT2, what is it? Templates, base inventory. Okay. And then exit this one. So here we have our name. So we have to, I'm going to go ahead and highlight that and Control C it. And then I'm going to delete it. And in this very first one, in the first record, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to Control V it. So now it's in that first record. Now it's going to set, if I'm not incorrect, if I didn't do anything wrong, it's going to go to record first. If is empty code bot, show the custom dot. Okay, so then it's going to set the variable. Then it's going to set the field to blank. So that looks, everything looks good right there. So let's exit the layout and find out what happens if we exit. Ta-da! Look at that. We just fixed it. So it took us back to our administrator page. Now we're going to, don't forget, we still have a management page to create. Well, we've created it. We just need to get the screws worked out and make it right. So that we have both the management page and the administrator page with different sets of things with it, different sets of abilities. So we will go to doing those things as well. But if we go to monitor, that's the thing that I wanted to do, is go to the monitor. So if we go to the monitor, and you see it's already set my name. So if I exit, but if I go to any other field, it doesn't work. So we're going to sort these records. I don't know why we are having this issue. Aha, there it is. I was like, what? Why is it? It should be separating these. So what it is doing is it's sorting the records by the date and the time, and we've set them up now to where we can actually click. So without messing with people. So if we click on this, it will show us the invoice that was done. So we can see everything there is to see about that particular invoice right there. One of the things that you can do, unfortunately, is these buttons are all still very, very active. So we need to deactivate the buttons, even for our own sake. Even for our own sake. So we'll go ahead and we'll close those down, and let's go do that. Let's go do that while we are actually here. So from here, we will go back to our admin page. And hopefully it lets us go there. It does. So I did script that one correctly. And from here, let's go to our... Or have to edit the layout. Wait, I want to see something really quick. Look, it took my name out. So it didn't bring my name with me to this page from that page. From the monitor page. Because if I go to the monitor page, I wonder if my name is still there. Okay. It probably is here somewhere. That was one of the weird things that I was trying to figure out. Is that in this particular sense, where was it? Did you guys see it? There it is. So what it did is it went to a specific record on a specific line, and it put my name in there in the field. And you guys can see it all the way down here in the bottom. All the way down here in the bottom. You can see it. So now if I go to admin from here, it should take my name and take it to admin with me. And it didn't. Still did not. So let's find out why it did not. Register monitor. And we found out it was one of these records. There it is right there. So let's edit the layout and let's push our admin button and find out what it says. Exit from monitor. Go to record request page last. Set the variable. Now the reason why we went to last instead of first was because if you go to the first record and then Josh makes a few sales, well, it's no longer going to be the first record anymore. It's going to just keep moving. So if you go to the last record, doesn't matter how many he adds on top or how many your sales clerks add on top, it's always going to pick that record. And so it's going to set the variable pass. It's going to set the monitor passcodes to clear, so it should have cleared it. Go to layout, admin window, set field, admin security link, pass. So this one I didn't add a lot of the frillies to, like if is empty or whatever, which I should have done. So I'm going to do that really quick. If, and we're just going to put it right here. We're going to go ahead and take our end if up by it. So we're just going to type in if is empty, and it will be monitor passcodes. Now we went to the last record. So if it is empty, we're just going to show some custom dialogue, and I think we'll just say access denied. Access denied. And then we want it to go to a layout, and that layout needs to be the entry page. And halt the script, obviously. Let's go here, halt script. Love that. Love that halt script thing. Okay. So then we're going to set the variable, passcode, blah, blah, blah. Then we'll clear the field. Then we will go to layout admin window. Then we will go to pass, and we will halt the script at that point. So that looks good. So it won't go to the admin if it doesn't reach there. So what we did find is that here, this is our last record, right? Well, it's the last record in this sort. So let's run our script debugger real quick while we're doing this. And we're already on our last register, or last thing. So let's just pick anything else. We'll pick anywhere else. Let's pick that one. And we'll go to admin. and that'll give us an F6 or step in. We can start going through it. So it's going to go to the last record requester page. Well, it went all the way down to the bottom, to the very bottom. So it's going to be empty, and it's going to take me to the entry page. Access denied, access denied. Go to layout, halt script. So with that being said, what we need to do is when we go there, let's edit our layout. Let's go into, and these are just fixing the minor issues, the minor things as we're going through, because you're going to find a lot of these things. So we're in that fine-tuning stage. So now we're going to go into our admin window, and we're going to find out in this monitor what we were doing wrong. So if we click monitor, admin to monitor. So it's going to set the variable, go to record request page, and I don't know why it says first, but it should be last. And then it's going to loop, and it's going to set the field, the monitor. Oh, that's right, I didn't show you guys this loop. The looping thing, I am going to get rid of the looping thing as soon as I get this done. What it basically does is a loop will go through and it will clear all of the records. That's the reason why this said go to record first. Because the loop is basically saying from the very beginning, go through all of the records, set the field monitor passcode to blank, and then go to the next record, and then exit. It will exit this loop after it reaches the last record. Then it says go to the last record, set the field, pass, and halt the script. So that should have worked. That should have worked. Now notice I don't have an if here. Don't have an if here. So now if we exit the layout, you can see my name is not in this field. So we do need to go to the entry page. I'm going to add my code, and I'm going to go into admin, and then I'm going to take my tools, my script debugger, if I can grab it, bring it over here, and I'm going to press monitor. Now that's going to take me to perform script, admin to monitor. We'll just do the F6 button really quick. We'll show you how this works. So it's going to set my variable, which is Timothy. It's going to set the field, security link. It's going to go to, so it's going to clear my name out. That's going to go to the layout, register monitor. It's going to go to the very first page. You know what I should have done is I should have sorted the records. I should have sorted the records, because right now it's going to go to the very first one, and then it's going to start looping through them, and it will erase all of them. But see how it's going to continue looping? This is what the loop does. So notice how many times I'm pushing this button, like a lot. That's the reason why we want to get rid of the loop, because it will, even though it'll search all the records in no time flat. What did it just do? I pushed the button so many times I forgot what it did. So it should have set this. Oh, it did. It set the bottom field as Timothy. So now all the rest of these records, there should be no Timothy on any of the rest of them except for the very last one. So now if we go to admin, it should take me straight to admin with my name. So it does work. We didn't do anything. That's weird. Quirky. So don't be surprised if you end up having to go back and forth and do a couple of weird things. We do have the employee stuff, the time card, the passcode, the scanner, monitor, Contacts I've done nothing with. I'm not too worried about it. Security portal, that will be a, it'll basically monitor anything that happens. One thing that we did do in the monitor is if you dismiss a record in the monitor, you'll see it. It'll come up in the notes section, and it will say, record has been dismissed. Our inventory in a list view. We like to have the inventory in a list view, and I did do this, by the way. This is the search. So it took me to the first record. I'm turning this on, and notice where the window is. It's blinking right now, so it's on the barcode data. If I go ahead and scan this, what it will do is it find the product for me. Look. Ta-da, there's the product, and I can make changes to it, which is really super cool. And if it doesn't find this product, it will initiate a brand new record. So that really worked out really super well. And it also left me on the add amount. So it's basically assuming, and I was assuming when I wrote this, that you would want to change the base amount. That was the primary reason why you would want to make a change, was so that you could change the amount. I apologize for the sound of my phone, but I'm turning it down. Okay, so I've been on for 55 minutes, and I think if there is anything else that you guys want to know, please let me know. We'll go ahead and get out of here. Go back to our entry page. As you can see, we've pretty much filled up all of the spots. We have a wonderful, oh, wait, just 1 minute. There was something that we wanted to do, that I wanted to do. I'm going to show you guys that really super fast. Let's edit the layout, because I want to go to, where is it? Invoicing. Register 1X. Register 1X. Now see how Register 1X is different? It's very, very, very different. Because this is kind of where I started from. And you can see where everything is like such a gigantic mess. Now you can either delete it and recreate another one, but it doesn't really matter because you're not going to use any of these buttons. None of this is going to make, like the execute, what's going to actually make the difference, exit the layout, you can see that these buttons are active, but nothing else. It allows us to do the amount tendered or the scanner data or the quantity, but we don't need any of that. You know, we don't need to be able to push the cache button or any of that other stuff, and we don't want to accidentally be able to do that. So let's edit the layout really fast, and I'm going to click on this, and obviously we see that it says the cache sales. We can just take we can either do one of two things. We can either remove all of the buttons, just get rid of them, which is fine, you can do that, or you can just tell it not to do something. So you can just be like, if you click on the cache button, you double click on the cache button really fast, it'll tell you you want it to perform a script, and you can say, no, I don't want it to perform a script, I want it to do nothing. And so now when you go into the cache button, from here, you can cancel, but you can't push the cache. See how it didn't light up like that one did? Doesn't light up. So it's basically just getting rid of those. And if you want to, you can change these things around because it's a different record. This is a completely different record. So you can take your totals, your subtotals, all of this data, and put it right here next to the window, so that when that does pop up, you know, this is for administrators only or managers only, and you don't want to accidentally change any of the information. So one of the big things that you really want to do is, in my personal philosophy, is just grab all of this stuff right here and delete it. Just delete it. You don't need this security or admin stuff. Don't need it. You're not going to need the quantity or the scanner data or any of that stuff. The only thing that you're going to need, we'll just delete that stuff. The only thing that you're going to need is this right here. These things. And you can take, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this one, or how this is going to look for me. Is I'm going to go into the positions, and I'm going to align them on the left edges, and then I'm going to move them all over right over here so they're very close. And I'm going to align them all so that the monetary values are right there on the left side edges. This one, I'm going to make it so that it is in the data. If we go to the data section, I know you guys are probably like, dang it, Tim. I'm going to make it not available in browse mode. Like, none of these are available in browse mode. None of them. And that means I cannot interact with them, which is good because I don't need to interact with them. Oh, that was my scanner. And then we can take these things right here because they're all here. Grab these. And we're going to align them. So position, align them all on the rightmost sides. And I'm going to move this over here so you guys can see it. So we're going to align them all on the rightmost sides. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to extend it to where it is, they're all the same length. And then you can grab them all and you can shorten them a little bit, get them to right where you want them. You can grab all of these. And I don't know why it didn't line those on all of them on the right side. There they go. I was like, what? They didn't all align on the right side. That's kind of dumb. But we're going to put these like right super close. Like super close. Like right there where they're touching. And we will exit that. Now this button, what we did with this button is in the very beginning, it's actually a popover. And you can see these little windows for the popover. Personally, you can just get rid of these. Just grab them both, all of them, delete them. It doesn't matter as long as they're gone. As long as you don't have the ability to accidentally change the data. That's kind of a big deal. So now if we exit the layout, what we see is this. Actually, this window, I want to change the appearance of it. Because I don't want it, actually I don't want it to have any fill at all. None. And the line color is none. So now when we exit the layout, it's pretty much blank. But you can see that there's 22 records here. So if we go to show all the records and we go through, this is now what we're going to see. So as you go through these records, ta-da, see there they all are. You can see every single record when it was made from your little window. And that to me is a big deal. Because this is going to show you all the data that you need to know. Like if they gave, let's see if I can find one. There. So this one, it shows that they gave $30 in cash. And the change due was $4.80. How perfect is that? Now, if you need to change the size of all of these, you can do that simply, easily, and painlessly. Just grab them. Grab them all, come over here, select a size. I want them all to be 18. I want them all to be 24. Whatever the case is. So they're not ridiculous. They're just going to be exactly where you want them to be. All of them will be 24. So now if we exit the layout, they'll all be the same size. And you can tell it's kind of odd, but this one, because it's bold, actually sticks a little bit closer over there, which is kind of odd, but it does. It sticks a little bit closer over there. So it's like, but it has all the information that we want to know. So on your X's, on your boxes that are X's, register 1X. Make sure that you do something like this. Take your buttons off, take your stuff out. You want it to be a clean, simple record. You just want it to be clean, simple, and painless so that when you're looking at it, let's exit the layout, or edit the layout, so we can go to our actually, we don't need to do that, do we? Let's just go to our entry page. 1911 admin. So now when we go into our monitor, that's kind of our big thing. We go into our monitor, and I'm going to get rid of that. I think I need to get rid of that looping thing now, because I don't think that there is a record anywhere else. I think it has pretty much erased them all. I only did that because there were so many records. There was a few of them that were actually, they actually had my name on them, and I was like, oh my gosh, what happens if somebody finds one and they get it, and then, you know, what the, so then they can get out of here. But I thought, no, maybe not. So now when you go to a record, and I did the 1X, right? So there it is. Ta-da! See it? It's simple, easy, painless. You can't modify anything. You can push this button, but nothing happens. You can push this button, but nothing happens. Because the thing is, just because this is in a window, it's not a view only. You can still make changes. If there is like an amount, if the amount tendered button was available, if there was a button that was available that you could change, see how, you guys see how that lights up just a little bit? Doesn't mean that, see? These are buttons or things that I can change. So I can type in whatever I want to. And it's not that I would want to, but you shouldn't want to. You shouldn't want to change an existing record. So leave the record the way that it is. And now we've pretty much finished that. We made it wonderful, wonderful, wonderful for all of you and myself. You guys are awesome. And I think that will end our train ride for today. So thanks everyone for watching me. You guys are amazing. I sure appreciate you guys for being here, for sure, for sure, for sure. Today wasn't like a very critical show, but I did want to make sure that I got here for you guys so that we could kind of go through some of the smaller things that we needed to do, so that we could get into this stuff. Like, you can't just go into register 2. It says no error code. I did set up a register 3 button. It just, all it does is take me someplace if there is a code. But I will show you guys on the next episode later this week actually how to build a register. So we did the register 1 already. We did the register 2. I did that behind the scenes, but tomorrow or the next day, sometime soon, I will get that resolved, and you guys will actually be able to see how to create one of these and all the stuff that's involved in actually making it happen. But like I said, you just type in your code. You can go straight to your sales record, and as you see, scanner data is already lit up and ready to start going. It does work really well. I have used it. There was the issue with the scanner on the actual deal, you know, where you could make records or change records or whatever. I'm still going to work on that and see if I can figure out what I can do to minimize that. But I think we'll be all right. Even just with the scanner, I think everything will be just fine. We've obviously hidden everything. So if you go into edit your layout and you look at manage your layouts, all of my layouts are hidden with the exception of the entry page, register 1, and register 2. Everything else is hidden. We can actually set those up in a different format if we wanted to, or hide them even farther if we wanted to. But I think we've done all that we can currently to make sure that our system is stable. That's a big thing. Number one, it's stable, and it is relatively safe. The hope and prayer is that we can figure out how to stop this iPad from allowing people to create and or negate records, because that's not what we want. We don't want people to create records. And I don't know, it didn't happen on my old system, but then again, on my old system, I didn't have a scanner either, but I do now. This is going to be fun. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks everybody for watching me. You guys are absolutely amazing. You guys are great. And I certainly do appreciate you guys being here for me. So until next time, be good to each other. Bye.